Perfect. Okay. All right. So you're calling me. I'm the homeowner. So you start with the ring ring.
Okay, ring ring.
Hello.
Hi,
You forgot your own name, or you forgot my name?
I forgot your name.
Okay, you can make up my name. It doesn't matter.
Okay, ring ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Lewis?
That is this Lewis. You would say ring ring, Lewis.
Oh, okay, ring ring. Lewis?
Yeah, you want to say it in a questioning kind of tone, because there's a different way to say ring ring Esther.
Okay.
You know, you'll be like ring ring Esther.
Okay.
You know, like that's kind of like a question by the tonality of your voice. Okay. So let's try it. Let's try it again.
Okay, ring ring.
Hello.
Lewis?
Oh yes, this is Lewis. How can I help you?
Hi, my name is Esther. I'm calling from Culture Estate. I see that I see that your property listed at 123 Main Street is no longer on the market. May I ask what happened?
Hey, listen. I'm sorry, but you're like the 10th agent that's called me today, and I really don't have time for this right now.
I totally understand your frustration. If I was in your situation, I'd be frustrated too.
Okay. Let's stop right there. Because what you want to do when you approach an expired listing is you want to cut his legs off before he even tries to hit you with that. Because that's going to be his, the new expired, that's going to be his rebuttal every time. You're like the 10th agent who called me today. So what you need to do is before he's able to say that, say it for him. You understand? Okay. So it's like, hey, Lewis, listen, I must be the 10th agent that called you today. And I apologize for that.
Okay.
You know, this is what we've been trained to do. But I'll tell you what makes us different than everyone else is calling you. Okay, so let's try that. Hello.
So, hi, Lewis.
Yes, how can I help you?
My name is Esther. I'm pretty sure I'm the 10th agent that's called you today.
Good. And you're smiling, which is good because when you smile, you sound very friendly on the phone.
Okay.
Which is great.
So I'm sure I'm the 10th agent that called you today, and I totally forgot the rest of the line.
It's okay. Don't remember what I said. Just get the message across because you don't have to say it like I said it. You have to say it like you remember it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure I'm the 10th agent that called you today, and I don't mean to bother you, and I'm just going to take about 5 minutes of your time. So I see that you're probably listed at 123 Main Street is no longer on the market. I just wanted to figure out what happened.
Well, you know, the agent I had, I don't know what to say about them. You know, they told me, you know, my home was worth $300,000. We marketed it at that. We barely had any showings. You never did any open houses, and I'm just, you know, really frustrated with gold prices right now. I'm grouping all realtors together. And I just think they all are terrible. And I'm taking my house off the market and just going to stay here.
Well, I completely understand, and I'm sorry that happened. But I just wanted to see if I can stop by and show you how I priced the home to make sure that it sells according to market value and making sure that it attracts the right buyers to your property and not anyone who's just looking to window shop. And I don't know what to do.
Okay. Well, stop by for what, Esther? You could just tell me this over the phone. You know what makes you different. Tell me how. You know why my house didn't sell. You know the area, right? It's okay. It's okay.
Well, I'm nervous.
There's a strategy called cushioning.
Okay.
Cushioning is taking a tough question and turning it around on people and saying, you know, thank you so much for asking. That's a very smart question.
Okay.
You know, and you could say, you know, the sky's gray after that, and they won't even realize it. You just complimented them on a really tough question. So you divert them at that. If you don't know the answer to it, you divert them. So for instance, we go back, and when you start the conversation, don't say, I'm just going to take 5 minutes of your time because people don't want to give away anything, and I certainly don't want to spend 5 minutes on the phone with you when I know that you're just another realtor. So what you want to tell them is, listen, I'm just going to give you some very valuable information. Okay? It won't take long at all. And then you go on to have your conversation with them. And then when you are asking to come over, you know, don't go right for the kill because you're not even warming him up. If you warm up the guy to a point where he's asking you questions, and I'm doing most of the talking, if I'm doing the most of the talking as the seller, and you're just like giving your feedback, never interrupting, a few minutes in, you can go ahead and say, hey, listen, you know, I'm going to be in the area this weekend anyway. Would you mind if I stopped over and showed you the benefits of working with our company? And at that point, you can ask for a date. Before then, it's too early. You got to build the rapport. Okay? Let's try it. Hello?
Hi, Lewis. My name's Esther. I'm calling from Culture Estate. I'm pretty sure you've had already 10 people call you tonight. And I just wanted to check and I just wanted to call and see. I just wanted. Could you start over?
Sure. Hello?
Hi, Lewis. My name is Esther. I'm calling from Culture Estate. I'm pretty sure you had already 10 people call you today. Well, 10 listeners call you today. And I'm just calling, and I see that your house is no longer on the market. And I just want to find out what happened with it.
Oh, my opinion, I think the realtor told us what we wanted to know. I mean, what we wanted to hear, and I think he priced the home, a little bit too high. We didn't have any showings. He didn't do any open houses either. We hardly ever heard from him. To be honest with you, I didn't even know it was expired. I'm very happy he told me that. Because our plans are, if it doesn't sell, we're just going to stay here.
Okay, I totally understand your frustration with the process, and I just wanted to. Okay, I'm confused.
It's okay.
So after I state that, we obviously the frustration of a lot of people calling them. Where do I go? I feel like I need to take notes.
Well, this is why we're doing this.
Okay.
So you can review it later, and you can build a script off of everything that you're saying that felt right, and everything that was wrong, you exclude. And then I'm also going to do it with you. You being the homeowner, I'm going to be the agent calling, and you can take whatever you like from my conversation, my dialogue, and you're going to write it out as well, okay? So that's going to take time, because everyone's script should be for them. Because if my script is not going to sound like the way Esther talks, and Esther's script is not going to be the way I talk. But the principle should be the same. So I'm going to call you, okay? Ring, ring.
Hello?
Esther?
Yes.
Hey, Esther, how you doing? This is Lewis, and I'm so sorry. I'm probably like the 10th person that's called you today. Because I'm sure your home just, I'm sure you know your home just expired, and every agent is trying to get you listed. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
I'm so sorry. This won't take more than a few moments of your time, and I will explain to you all the valuable reasons why people work with Culture Estate.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What's Culture Estate?
Thank you. I'm so glad you asked that question. Culture Estate is actually the New Jersey's fastest growing real estate company. We have 100 agents located out of Scotch Plains. And the reason I'm calling you today is because we actually specialize with homeowners who have tried to sell their home in the past but have not succeeded. We only work with sellers. We're a seller's agency, which means that you're getting representation a lot differently than an agency that works with both buyers and sellers. So, no, I do not have a buyer for your home. I know that's going to be one of the questions you're going to ask me probably later on. I have several buyers who might possibly be interested in your home because we're a large agency. All our agents here have a database with a lot of people who call in on our listings. So we market our properties a lot different than most real estate companies, and I'm sure you can appreciate that.
Yeah, I've heard a version of this before. So what exactly will you be doing, and can you just show me over the phone?
Okay. Oh, sure. I can give you some tidbits over the phone. For instance, let me ask you a question. Did your previous agent list a home in the Hudson County MLS?
What's that?
The Hudson County MLS is the MLS that's used for Hudson County, such as Hoboken, Jersey City, those areas up there bordering New York. And there's actually a methodology behind that, because your home, I know it's listed in, I know the home is listed in Central Jersey MLS because you're in Woodbridge. So I know that the agent listed it there. But did you know that the majority of the buyers that are coming in now are coming in from New York?
No, I do not.
Okay, well, since the buyers come in from New York specifically in the beginning, they usually start their search in the closest counties to New York, which are Bergen County and Hudson County. So if your agent is not a member of those MLSs and is not marketing your property there, what's happening is those people that are coming in from New York, they start their search with a realtor in those counties, and those realtors, 99% of the time, don't have access to the Central Jersey MLS because it's not their backyard. But if we marketed it in their MLS, they would most likely see it. We get more of an influx of people coming in. So I'm sure that a lot of real estate companies couldn't even do that for you because they don't have the opportunity to. At Culture Estate, we subscribe to every single MLS in New Jersey to give you the maximum exposure your house needs.
Okay, that sounds good.
Good. Well, listen, since I did get your attention on that, I'm going to be in your area this weekend, and I would love to come by and drop off some material on us and show your statistics on how fast we can sell your home when it's priced right.
Well, this weekend really isn't going to work. I'm not sure when I'm available next week. Can I just give you a call back?
Sure, we can schedule a call back. That's not a problem. But can I just ask you, what days are worse for you, or what times are worse for you?
Mondays through Fridays between 8 and 12.
Okay. Could you think of any conceivable reason why you wouldn't be available, let's say Friday at 6 p.m.?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, that's more or less the time that I make my rounds in that area. So I'll pencil you in for that time. I'll come by and I'll just drop off some material for you. I'll introduce myself so you can put a face to the name, and then I'll let you go on your way, and then you can reschedule a call at any time after that. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, Esther. I really appreciate you giving me your time today. And believe me, I apologize. I'm not going to be the last agent to call you today. There'll probably be several more. And if you want to get them off your back really quickly, just ask them a couple of trick questions. You can ask them, hey, listen, according to the other agents I've spoken to, how many MLSs are you a member of? And if they can tell you more than one, if they don't tell you more than one, it's probably not worth your time.
Okay,
Right?
thank you.
Good. So you always leave them with something that separates yourself from future agents that are going to show up. You understand? Because there are going to be other agents. Just like when you go on a listing appointment, if there's 3 agents that are going to interview that day and you're the first or the second, you leave them with a list of tough questions that most agents don't know how to answer. And you stump them, and then when you say, listen, just for your knowledge, asking these questions, that way you know you're dealing with the right person. Sometimes there's brokers who can't even answer those questions. So, you want to always have that little ace up your sleeve. So let's try it again. Let's make you the buyer again. You the agent again. Let's try it.
Ring ring.
Hello?
Lewis?
Yes, who's this?
Hi, my name is Esther. I'm calling from Culture Estate. I'm pretty sure you're first.
A realtor?
Oh,
It's okay. So laugh when he says that. Just laugh, vibe with him, and because the last thing you want to do is feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So if you laugh, I'll laugh. That's just laughter's contagious, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, another realtor. There you go. Yes. Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead. How can I help you?
So I know that I don't mean to bother you, and I don't want to waste your time. I see that your house was previously taken off the market. May I ask what happened?
Yeah, well, I had a realtor I was working with. Make the long story short, a friend of mine, and I thought that the home was worth more. He agreed with me. Actually, we really got very little showings, and I'm starting to come to terms with my house probably not being worth that much. But he never suggested any price reductions. He never did any open houses. That's for one, and I don't know if that's what it takes to sell a house, but I just don't feel like he was representing me properly because he was my friend.
I totally understand the frustration of the situation. But I just wanted to give a quick market ad, blah blah. Give you a quick market.
I think what you can go into then is start asking more questions, because the more you ask, the more I talk, and the more I talk, the more I trust you.
Okay. So what exactly did he list your house for?
Well, the home was listed for $300,000, and I think that was a little bit too much. Maybe we should have tried $275. I tried telling my wife that, and my wife, she knows it all. This is my kitchen is new, my bathroom's new, my roof is new. I have friends in the neighborhood sold the house for $300,000. I don't know what I went wrong after that. I just talked for 5 minutes. So yeah, then that's what I'm thinking. Maybe we could drop the price a bit. But I'm not sure if we want to sell now because it is the holidays. So try me back in April.
Well, I totally understand, but the thing is, during the winter, obviously I need to brush this up, but during the winter we tend to have a lot more serious buyers because who actually want to go out in the cold to go house shopping, whereas in the summer there's a lot of foot traffic and a lot of people who just go to window shop and look at houses. So that's what makes the winter a better time to sell than the summer or the spring.
Good. Now, if that's the case, Esther, I'll think about it and I will get back to you. Is there a phone number I can reach you guys? This number you're calling me on the best number?
Well, actually, I feel like this would be a better conversation had in person. Just because I can really show you what's going on in the market and show me how I can sell your house for you. Will this weekend be available?
Esther, to be honest with you, I'm really not interested right now.
Well, I totally understand, and I don't mean to waste your time, as I said before.
It's okay.
Because typically this is the time I'm just like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. So if somebody tells me I'm not interested, I'd be like, of course you're not interested. I wouldn't be interested either because you have no idea what our company does. But I will tell you one thing. Was your objective to sell your home for the most amount of money possible? Rhetorical question, obviously. Yes, it was. Well, listen, I can show you our proven 12-step process on how we get homeowners the most amount of money. And it's something that I wouldn't have to explain to you in person just because the information doesn't come across as well over the phone. And it won't take much time at all. I will be in your neighborhood anyway this weekend. I was about 5 o'clock on Saturday. So something like that is what you can jump into. When people say stuff to you, like I want you to, when you're making phone calls, have your pad and have the objections people are throwing at you. Write them down. Write them down. Have your objection. If you're not ready to handle that objection yet, and you're like, damn it, like I should have said this, I should have said that. Write it down, and then come up with all the objectives you could have said to that person, because you remember all of them afterwards. And then what you're gonna go do is you're gonna go back and role play it and tell people, hey, say this to me when I call you, and then I'm gonna practice it. You understand? Because if somebody told me I'm not interested and didn't hang up the phone, hey, there's still a chance for me to turn that around. If they say I'm not interested, click, then obviously that's a different story. So take as much information as you can from the person while you're on the phone. If they can talk for an hour, let them talk for an hour, because the longer they talk, then they're going to feel like they owe you something because they just took up so much time talking. So you don't have to come up with a clever line to carry forth the conversation. You just have to come up with a series of questions you would ask any expired. Write down like 5 to 10 questions that you think would be very crucial and would get the person to talk as long as possible. Like, can you tell me a little about the home? Like, when did you buy it? What attracted you to the house? What we really liked about the house was that it's in a beautiful neighborhood. The basement was finished. It's got really good bones. I really love this house. And, oh, that's awesome. Did you raise any kids there? Oh, wow, that's awesome. You know what? I have a child of my own. How old is yours? Oh, instantly trying to start to build that rapport with them. So if you could, at times, divert from business and find an emotional attachment with them. Because the more you can warm them up, the easier it is to close them for the appointment. Okay? And if somebody called me and said, hey, how you doing, Louis? Yes, I'm coming over side. Like, what? No, of course not. You got to butter me up and tell me all the benefits and let me talk from my heart and let me feel you as a person. It's not as a salesperson. That's why I say no script is the best script, because if I said, like, my mom is dying from cancer, and you go back to your script, like, okay, I'm so sorry to hear that. I can really feel it. If people want to say, oh my God, seriously, like, I'm so sorry. Listen, I will say a prayer for your mom, and if I may ask, how old is she? 80 years old. God bless her soul. She's been around for a while, and I'm sure she's very, proud of all your accomplishments as a parent. I have a child of my own, and if I live to be 80, which I hope I do, I hope that I get to see my grandkids. Start to talk about different stuff, because at the end of the day, it's not that you're being phony, but you have to care. If you don't care, you're never going to sell. That comes before a trust. Show you care. They don't trust you. They don't give you their business. You have to earn their business. You can't call and ask for it. You got to earn it. If you earn it, you got it all day. All right. So I've had people on the phone who have told me random things that I have no interest in whatsoever, because I know they're interested in it. I listen and I comment when I can. If I don't know much about it, I just tell them, listen, I can compare that to my passion for vehicles, cars. I love cars. I see you the same way with birdhouses. I don't know, whatever they're into, but it's something. So I want you to try again, and I'm gonna still give you a hard time, and I want you to not so much like think of like what the world's best rebuttal is, because if I gave you something like, I'll give you my list and you can tell me the square root of 104, and you'd be like, you know what, that's an awesome question. You know what, I took math in high school and I flunked it. I was terrible in high school. I'm sure you were probably much better than I was, but I tell you what, my specialty is in real estate, where if you don't know the answer to it, cushion it, divert it into something that you do know the answer to. And if you have to lean on your broker, like, you know what, that's an awesome question. That's actually my broker's specialty. And I'll bring him with me when we come on buy-in Saturday, so he can answer all those questions for you. My specialty is in ABC. His specialty is in XYZ. So let's try it again. Hello?
Hi, Louis. My name is Esther. I'm pretty sure you've already received 1,000 of these calls today. And I don't want to waste any more of your time. I just see that your house was taken off of the market. May I ask why?
I'm sure. Well, like I told every other agent they called, we're not interested in selling anymore. We tried. We were going to sell if we hit our number, but we didn't. So, I'm okay with that. We'll stay in the house another couple of years so the market catches up.
Oh. It's not an I understand your frustration. Sorry. I can't get my head out of the analyticals.
Mm-hmm. Just ask a personal question about the house.
Okay, so what do you like most about the house?
Yeah, well, I like the house because it was built around 1920s when homes were built. We're sturdy. We love the house and we bought it, and we feel like we shouldn't be giving it away because we bought it for X and we put it in Z, and then now we're into it for about this much, and I'm not gonna give my house away. So I'll stay here as long as it takes.
Well, I totally understand the love of your house. My parents actually bought a house when we first came to this country, and it's become a family heirloom.
There you go, humanizing yourself. I like that.
So I just wanted to. See what happened with your last agent. What did you like about him, and what did you not like about him?
Well, my last agent, I think, just told me a whole bunch of nonsense and just told me, I take responsibility for it. I picked him, and he just told me what I wanted to hear, and I trusted him. I don't think his marketing was up to par. I believe that he could have done a much better job. And I'm sorry, but I just don't think he values his career that much. So it's okay. We had it listed on the MLS for about 6 months. We didn't get any bites, so my wife and I are okay with taking it off and just trying again maybe in the future after the market comes up.
Okay, well, I have to say that right now is actually a great time to sell a house. Reason being that there's a lot of credible buyers on the market who are searching for homes, compared to later on when the market does get better. There's just a lot of window shoppers or people who are just looking to see a pretty house. And I know that you more than likely don't like a lot of people tracking through your house every day.
And how come my house didn't sell, Esther?
Well, that's
It just expired yesterday.
I understand the frustration. That can be the fault, and that definitely is the fault of the agent that listed the property with you. Maybe he wasn't doing enough showings, or what do you think he could have done differently?
To be honest with you, we had no traffic at all. I mean, we had 1 or 2 showings at the very beginning, but everything just faded out after that. So, you know what, I just think that, you realtors, all you guys do is just list the properties and walk away. And just put a sign up on the lawn, and that's all you guys care about. How many listings can you collect, and then you don't sell any of them. So, my experience with realtors has been really disgusting. I just, I want to try again in a couple of years when the market's better, and then we'll see what happens then.
Well, I totally understand your frustration, and I'm hoping to set myself apart. Well, if you give me the chance to come and show you what I actually can do, I'll give you the 12-step plan that works for my company to sell our home, because my company is one of the largest development companies in Scotch Plains, and we not only have the most listings, but we have about 95% sells on everything that we do list. So we specialize in sellers, meaning that we mainly work with sellers, and we only work with accredited buyers, meaning that we will not show a home unless we see a pre-approval from a buyer. So if you're okay, and if it's okay with you, I can stop by either tomorrow or this weekend, and I will show you physically on paper what we have and how we are different from everybody else you've worked with.
Great. Well, you know what? I have to check my schedule and get back to you. I'm not sure if I can do any of those days. I'm really busy this week because of the holidays. So why don't I give you a call back when we're ready to sell? Okay,
so just quickly, tell me when you are not available. When's the worst time to actually get you?
All right, well, like I mentioned, I'm really not interested right now at the moment, but my worst days are Monday through Friday because I work late and I go in early, so those are the worst days for me.
Okay, is there any credible reason why you're unavailable Thursday evening at 5 o'clock?
I just told you Monday through Friday is impossible for me. I get home super late.
Okay, well, that's not a problem. How about Saturday morning? Would that work for you?
I got soccer for the kids on Saturday mornings. I'm sorry.
Okay, not a problem. Is there any other time that doesn't work for you?
Listen, Esther, I'm telling you right now, you're barking up the wrong tree. I think, my ship has sailed. I don't think I'm going to sell my house this year.
I completely understand. I'll give you a call back later.
I won that one. See, the thing is, it's a chess game. A phone call is a chess game. Everything they throw at you, you got to be prepared for. Everything is preparation. So, a couple of things you could have asked me during that encounter was, okay, I was so frustrated with the sale, and I was so confident that I could sell it in the future. Why don't you try asking the guy, hey, listen, what was the motivation behind you selling the home?
Okay.
Well, I wanted to move to Florida because I hate this weather. Okay, cool. Got it. Thank you. Where in Florida are you moving to? Oh, Pensacola. Cool, very nice. I see they're doing big things. I'm sorry, you can call me from Home Depot. Hello? Yeah, can you call the other number, please? I'm in a meeting. The 823 number? Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. So ask why, you're moving to Florida. Why is it you moving? Oh, because, the weather sucks here and I want to go down and fish. Okay, great. And then you talk a little bit about that. You can expand the conversation on that. If you know anything about Florida, you know anything about fishing, or you want to bring up anything that, pertains to that. And the guy's like, okay, well, I don't want to sell this here because, maybe the market's not ready. In a couple of years, we'll try again. Awesome. Okay, well, would you be opposed to selling your home now if I can get you the price you want? No, of course not. I'd sell my house. Okay, awesome. Now, in the climate that we're in right now, the interest rates are rising. So I'm sure you would understand that if interest rates rise, what do you think happens to home prices? Well, they probably fall. Okay, so every year for the last 3 years, interest rates have been rising, and I feel that that's what's going to keep happening in the future. So if we're at 4.5% interest rates now, if we go to 5 and 6, you know what that's going to do to your home value in about a year or two? It's going to dramatically devalue it. Now, if I can show you how to sell your house now for a price that will get you in Florida by springtime, doesn't that sound a lot better to you? Yeah, you know what? What do you guys do different? You're cutting off all my angles. I got no angles. I interest rate stuff you're hitting me with we don't know what the buyer pool is going to be in a year or two. It could change to a totally different market. You got to think about this. Right now we're at a high. Real estate prices are at a max right now. What if real estate prices drop off a cliff? That means you're going to have to divert your golden years, or divert your retirement, or divert your next chapter of your life until the market comes back. You'll be kicking yourself 2 years from now, Jim. The guy's name is Jim. When you realize that you could skated away with X, and now you have a lot less, and now you probably never get that dream of moving to Pensacola. So paint that gloomy picture for me. Don't be scared. And if I say, you know what, no, I'm busy, I got soccer. And you can start laughing, like, soccer? Oh my God, my kids love soccer. You know what? Let's do this, right? I know that after soccer, usually you guys will go out and get pizza or something like that. I have a showing around that area at 3 o'clock, so let's just stop over and please kind of like take the initiative and pencil yourself in. Instead of asking for permission, assume the appointment. Okay, don't stop asking for permission. You ask for it twice or the third time, just assume it and take it. Okay, let's try one last time. Get a minute to go.
Ring.
Hello.
Hi, Louis.
Yes, this is Louis.
Hi, Louis. My name's Esther from Culturist. I'm pretty sure you've already received 1,000 of these calls today, and I don't mean to take up any more of your time. But I just saw that your house was taken off the market. If I may ask what happened.
Wow. Well, to be honest with you, like I told every other agent that called, the home was overpriced. I think that, the market spoke and, I listened. We listed it kind of high. That's what the agent recommended, So we're going to take it off the market for a couple months. We're going to do some renovating to it, and we'll put it back in the springtime and see if we can get a bite then.
I completely understand the frustration, and I understand that you want to renovate the house. But I just wanted to show you that, let you know that right now is actually a great time to sell your house. Reason being that you get a lot of serious buyers in the winter compared to in the springtime when there's just individuals who simply want to look at homes. In the winter, there are more serious buyers. Reason being it's cold, and who really want to go out in the cold. I know you don't want to go out in the cold, and I don't want to go out in the cold. So we and yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, I appreciate the call, but if that was the case, my home would have sold. It expired yesterday. It was sold last week. If there's real buyers out there, bring me a buyer. I'll pay a 2.5% commission. I'm just not interested in listing my house at the moment.
Well, as you said before, the agent we were working with actually priced the house at a higher rate than the market value. So how about I come in and I show you what my market value is for your home, and I will show you the 12-step plan that my company uses to sell homes. Recently, that we are a specialized branch, which we mainly work with sellers. Making sure that their house sells for the right price and to the right buyer. We don't send buyers to your house or show your house unless we see pre-approval for it from a buyer, meaning that we only work with accredited buyers.
Esther, how many homes have you sold in my area?
Well, the office has sold about 50 homes in the area.
Okay. Well, yeah, sounds pretty interesting, but like I said, I'm just gonna wait it out. I think right now is a bad time for us to relocate anyway. Who wants to move, during the holidays? So I really appreciate the call, but try to get back in April.
If I may ask, what was your reason for putting the house on the market in the first place?
Well, I wanted to see if we can sell the home and move down to Florida because that's obviously where I have family down there. We want to go and be closer to them.
Oh, that's something nice. I'd love to be next to my family. Family is everything to me. They can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but
Yeah, my Uncle Tom, man, he's a little something. You guy's crazy.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
And if you did sell your house, when were you planning to move to Florida?
Whereabouts, you say?
No, when?
Oh, when? Well, we were hoping to sell it and be down there before Christmas, but it doesn't look like that's happening. So we're probably gonna have to pump the brakes on that and maybe shoot for sometime during the spring to summertime of next year.
How about if I can show you how I will sell your house before the springtime?
How would you do that?
It's something I have to show you in person. It's better to see in person than it is to tell you over the phone.
Okay. Well, Esther, to be honest with you, I'm very busy this week because it's the holidays and I have family over. So give me a shout after the New Year's.
That's not a problem. Well, when is your least available time? When are you not available at all?
My worst days are Monday through Friday, and I'm swamped of during those days. So we could try to shoot for maybe a weekend or something.
Okay, how about Saturday at 5?
I can't do it, this Saturday. But you mean after New Year's, right?
January 2nd at 5 p.m. Yes.
All right, well, that's fine. Just check in with me before, and then we'll regroup.
Okay, not a problem. I'll just call you and then confirm our
Sure.
meeting, and I'll see you January 2nd.
No worries. Okay, good. So you got his commitment for January 2nd in the future on a Saturday, right?
Okay.
He's already agreed to that. So his Saturdays are good at that time.
Okay.
So what you could do is say, well, listen, I will definitely schedule a meeting with you for then. In the meantime, I'm going to be in your neighborhood this weekend anyway. I'll stop by and I'll drop off some material about myself and some information about what we do. And that way you can have a little background on us before we meet on January 2nd. But when you go there and you do it, hey, how you doing? Oh my God, it's freezing out here. It's so cold. You can come inside for a second? Sure. You know what? Here's the paperwork. I just want to explain it to you how it is. And hey, you got your appointment right then and there. You understand? So there's always, make pretend that he won and say, look, yes, appointment for Saturday in January. It works. That's perfect. I'm putting it in my calendar right now. In the meantime, I'd like to come by and just drop off my paperwork so you want to be in your neighborhood anyway this Saturday, so it's really not out of my way. I only have a few minutes that I could spend, because I do have to pick up my daughter from the ballet after that. And I just wanted to introduce myself, and that way we could regroup back in January. Okay? Good. And assume that appointment. Don't ask permission for that one. Just assume that one. And then you're good. You're good to go. So I think you did great. You got your iPhone?
Don't I have an iPhone? Samsung?
You have a Samsung? Okay. I want to try to.
I have an, what you call it?
You have your laptop though?
Yeah.
Bring your laptop and I'll airdrop this thing.